and offer employment and investment opportunities to Guyanese and Brazilians alike. It is envisaged that these cooperation projects will ensure energy security for future generations. As stipulated under the MOU, the outcome of these discussions by the two sides will result in concrete proposals being submitted and discussed to the respective heads of state by June, identifying specific timelines for implementation. The government of Guyana remains therefore heartened by the continued commitment demonstrated by the government of Brazil to collaborate at the bilateral, region, and international levels in pursuit of these common synergistic goals that will improve our existing relations and provide a better quality of life for both of our peoples. Allow me once again to welcome the Brazilian delegation to Guyana and to express the hope that this meeting and our future engagements will be a success. Thank you very much.
Minister Singh, you came just in time to make your remarks, so don't make yourself too comfortable, please. The podium is yours.
Distinguished Ambassador of Brazil to Guyana, our distinguished visitors and friends from Brazil, Government of Guyana, agencies, ladies and gentlemen. Let me, first of all, thank you very much for affording me the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you this afternoon, and apologize for not being here for the start of the opening ceremony. I, in fact, was detained for another event with the European Union ambassador. But I'm particularly pleased that we're able to welcome in Guyana today, this week, such a large delegation from Brazil. For many, many years, Brazil's potential as a global economic giant has been recognized and much celebrated. In recent years, over the past decade or two, that potential has demonstrated its realization, its manifestation through Brazil taking its rightful place amongst the world's economic giants. Today, much of the growth that we witness in global economic activity is driven by dynamic economies like Brazil's. And in fact, were it not for the dynamism in economies such as yours, the global economic situation would be a much more dismal one than it currently is. In much the same manner, the potential opportunities that arise from Guyana's proximity to Brazil have long been recognized and heralded in Guyana. For many, many years, we in Guyana have contemplated the fact that being situated as close as we are to Brazil presents us with unique opportunities, not only as a physical bridge between northern Brazil and the Atlantic and the Caribbean, but also as a more figurative bridge between the Caribbean, and in particular between the small states of the Caribbean and Brazil. For a long time, realizing this exciting prospect was restricted mostly by physical access. Happily, that impediment is now rapidly being removed, And in fact, I had the opportunity just last evening to remark to some of your compatriots that it is significant that at the opening of the bridge over the Takatu River, which by Brazilian standards is a relatively small piece of infrastructure, no less a person than the President of Brazil, President Lula Inácio da Silva, took the time to attend the opening and the commissioning of that bridge. That, I believe, was a very powerful statement by Brazil at the highest level, both of the value placed on Brazil's friendship with Guyana, but also recognition of the opportunities that are presented by closer linkages with Guyana. We now have physical access over the bridge. We have a road that essentially allows us overland access from Georgetown to Brazil, although that road is not an all-weather road, not a permanent surface in the manner that we would like it to be. We now have a level of awareness in the northern states of Brazil of the economic opportunities that exist in Guyana and that exist and that would exist and would arise from improved infrastructural links through Guyana to the Atlantic and the Caribbean. When I accompanied President Jagdeo with the commissioning of the Takatu Bridge, we paid a visit to Roraima State, and I was extremely impressed at the high level of awareness within Roraima at the provincial government level, the level of awareness of economic opportunities that exist in Guyana. I believe that we are now at a time when it would be fair to say that these opportunities are ripe for harvesting, given the level of recognition and awareness of opportunities for investment in Guyana by Brazilian companies, including in physical infrastructure. I think it behoves all of us on both sides, on the Brazilian side and the Guyanese side, to redouble our efforts to realize this potential that has been spoken of for such a long time. Whether it be a road from Boa Vista to the Atlantic coast in Guyana, whether it be a deep water harbor in one of our coastal cities that will facilitate more rapid transit of Brazilian goods in, or goods coming out of northern Brazil and into northern Brazil, whether it be the harnessing of Guyana's vast hydropower potential to meet the rapidly growing energy demands of Brazil, whether it be commercial and other trading opportunities for Caribbean companies to establish their operations in Guyana with the intention of accessing Brazilian markets. On each one of these fronts, we have before us now an opportunity to accelerate the effort to realize this potential. And I believe that a visit such as yours augurs well, provides us with an important impetus to realizing this potential. But the potential is not only about physical infrastructure and about closer relationships between the two countries. I think we also have an exciting opportunity to be innovative in our approach to meeting some of the infrastructural gaps that exist in both of our countries. I refer to the growing demand for energy in Brazil. I refer to the infrastructural gap in Guyana, roads and bridges. We have, for example, in Guyana, increasingly been embracing the public-private partnership model, mobilizing private capital to fund public infrastructure. We have, for example, used this model to construct a bridge over one of our three largest rivers, the Berbice River. That bridge now is in operation by a privately owned company, funded, its physical construction having been funded with private capital. We are in advanced stages of concluding and achieving financial closure on the Amaila Falls hydropower project, which again is being developed under a public-private partnership model. which will see electricity generated to meet the demand of the national grid for the next 4 or 5 years, with a major international investor being the majority equity provider. And I don't believe that it's a secret. I believe it's publicly known. We have said it publicly that we intend to use this model. We intend to use this public-private partnership model in replication as we develop other major infrastructural projects. So as we speak of major roads, bridges, hydropower development, and any other major infrastructural opportunity, whether it's a harbor or any of other of the examples that I've mentioned, this model of raising private capital, particularly private capital from Brazilian companies that have an obvious interest in Guyana, strategic interest in Guyana, this is a model that I assure you we will embrace. We're happy, Guyana is, if you'll forgive me for using a cliche, we're open for business, and in particular we are ready to welcome Brazilian companies interested in doing business in Guyana. And so I will not detain you for much longer. I know that you have a pressing agenda ahead of you. Permit me once again to say that we're delighted that such a large team can visit us in Brazil so quickly after the recent signing of a memorandum of understanding between our two governments, witnessed by our two presidents. I've seen the composition of your delegation. I see that it's very diverse in its composition. I hope that we are able to make full use of your presence here today. And I really do hope that our discussions will add impetus in our efforts to realize this long and much heralded, exciting opportunity that exists for Guyana by virtue of our physical proximity to Brazil, and indeed that in doing so, that significant benefits accrue to the Brazilian economy and to the Brazilian people, also to our Brazilian brothers and sisters. So with those remarks, once again, welcome to our friends from Brazil, and I wish you productive discussions. Thank you very much.
Mr. Singh, thank you for those remarks. I will invite Ambassador Suarez to make his presentation, and then Mr. Pilion will follow right after.
Thank you. Well, I think we have a translation, so we can speak in Portuguese. Ok? Bom, muito obrigado, senhor Ministro de Public Works, Mr. Robinson Ben, Ministro das Finanças, Dr. Assim Singh, por esta oportunidade de estar uma vez mais na Guiana para reforçar os laços bilaterais que existem e que foram, digamos, intensificados pela, como já disse o ministro, inauguração da ponte sobre o rio Tacutu, que foi, digamos, um momento crucial nas relações comerciais e políticas entre os dois países. Eu não quero aqui repetir o que já foi expressado, ou ressaltado pelo ministro Singh, da importância desta primeira reunião do Grupo de Trabalho sobre Infraestrutura. Temos uma agenda ampla, complexa, temos temas que deverão tomar um tempo maior para um exame mais detido, e justamente a delegação brasileira, como se refere o ministro Singh, é diversificada e abrange temas como finanças, energia, investimentos. Temos o representante do Gabinete da Presidência da República, o que ressalta ou salienta a importância que o governo brasileiro dá ou confere a essa reunião sobre infraestrutura entre os dois países. Temos também um a apresentar no final de junho deste ano. Esperamos que até lá possamos ter 3 ou 4 reuniões a mais deste grupo de trabalho para que possamos ter um relatório conjunto e que possa refletir as preocupações e dar ou direcionar caminhos para resolver ou pelo menos orientar os próximos passos deste grupo de trabalho. Eu não gostaria de me alongar nesta minha primeira intervenção, mas eu gostaria de, em nome da delegação brasileira, reiterar os nossos agradecimentos pelas boas-vindas. Para mim, em particular, é um prazer estar em Georgetown. Mais uma vez, eu já me considero praticamente um cidadão guianense, que aqui, desde a construção ou a finalização da conclusão da ponte sobre o rio Tacutu, fui muitas vezes a Letem, Bonfim, via Boa Vista, e para mim é sempre um prazer estar aqui, trabalhar com as senhoras, com os senhores e apresentar fatos concretos, apresentar esses fatos aos presidentes em junho, sobre a relação entre dois países que, como disse bem o ministro Sim, são vizinhos e querem um desenvolvimento mútuo, conjunto, um apoiando o outro. Então é nesse sentido que, senhor ministro, eu gostaria de colocar a delegação brasileira a seu inteiro dispor, ao dispor da delegação da Guiana, para qualquer pergunta que se faça ou pedido de esclarecimento sobre um ponto, um tema da nossa agenda. O senhor pode ter certeza, asseguro, que a nossa delegação estará apta, habilitada a responder a todos os questionamentos ou perguntas da delegação da Guiana. Portanto, mais uma vez, obrigado e agradeço sempre essa boas-vindas de uma nação muito próxima, muito querida ao Brasil. Muito obrigado.
Boa tarde a todos. Trago em nome do governador do estado de Roraima um abraço muito forte aos ministros do transporte e das finanças, que transmitam ao nosso presidente Donald Ramotá o carinho que o povo de Roraima, do Brasil, tem por esse país irmão e amigo. O ministro das Finanças nos deu, em breves palavras, aí uma aula de integração, de economia, de planejamento estratégico, enfim, ele já resumiu a importância estratégica desse projeto. E eu diria, em outras palavras, da ponte foi nosso noivado. E agora, hoje aqui, nós estamos iniciando a organização do casamento, da realização desse grande sonho, que é termos uma integração mais efetiva, mais concreta do norte do Brasil com a Guiana. Queremos ver essa estrada asfaltada, a integração da matriz energética, a construção e a melhoria do porto. Queremos uma cooperação mais ampla na área de agricultura, na área de cultura, na integração dos nossos sistemas de ensino. Enfim, nós queremos efetivamente integrar economicamente e socialmente o norte do Brasil com a Guiana, esse país irmão, vizinho, e que nós temos um carinho muito especial. Então, em nome do governo de Roraima, do governador Anchieta, transmito ao nosso presidente que, na semana do Carnaval, esteve na fronteira, fez uma visita ao nosso município de Bonfim e reafirmou a importância dessa reunião que está ocorrendo nesses 2 dias. Muito obrigado.
Thank you, Ambassador. Ambassador and Mr. Leon. This brings to an end the formal session, the formal program. We will break for about 5 minutes and then allow the technical persons to commence the meeting.